Paulo Ventura. Did I get that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because you put a little accent on the end, so I didn't know if I was pronouncing it correctly, but aka Alien Native,
Yes, sir.
and that's your base project. Really appreciate you coming by today.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
This is the third episode of this podcast, and we've had some really good conversations, and I think this is going to be a good one too.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
So we've known each other since like 2019, something like that.
Probably, yeah, pre-COVID.
Yeah, because we played a show at 404 Bar and Grill, I'm pretty sure. And I think that was like my first or second show ever. So like super inexperienced Waweezy back then. But yeah, I mean, for as long as I've known you, you've been like a really fucking good DJ, and I'm really impressed by your project. And
Appreciate it.
so yeah, I just wanted to bring you in today. You doing all right today?
Good, yeah. It was a little sleepy early, but you got me some coffee, so I'm good to go. Appreciate it.
I make my coffee like cracked, like I was saying earlier. Basically, like whenever I have coffee in other places, like if I go to a Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, like their coffee seems so weak to me.
Double shot.
Yeah, I mean, like even with like a double shot, I'm like, this is some weak stuff. So if you start like spazzing out in a second, you'll know exactly.
All right, no, I appreciate it very much.
How long have you been DJing for?
DJing since 2003. Yeah, 2003 or 4. Yeah, 2003. Yeah, I started producing first. Then, my friend, I had a project in Brazil called Illusionaria, as me and my buddy that produces Psytrance. And then we started going to parties and finally got a gig. And it's funny that the first gig that we got is when I started learning DJ as we were there. Like,
Oh wow!
I was like, oh, this is how it works. Put the CD in. Like, okay. Like, it was an interesting experience.
Oh, this is the one people were actually using CDs and the CDJs.
Yep.
Wow.
Back in the days when we had a whole case of CDs, like, oh, what are we gonna use? Yeah.
That is hilarious. I mean, like up until 2 years ago, like CDJ still had that slot, right?
Yep.
Just nobody was using it.
Yeah, it was just embellishment at this point.
Why are we still calling them CDJs? Shouldn't they be like USBJs at this point?
I think it became the name of the device, let's say, or the media player, because back in the days it was the CDJs and it was the standard.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like all the media players now are called CDJs, right?
Okay, just to kind of like keep that sort of like persona, or
Yeah, I guess the name just caught. Trying to think of another product that we use. I can't think of off the top of my head now.
There's like the Denon CDJs, right?
Yeah,
And they also call theirs CDJs.
like it's Pioneer, but then are not CDJs. Yeah.
I have like an internal hate for Pioneer because I feel like they have like such a stranglehold on just like the scene in general, like everyone DJing, like, and their equipment isn't even better. It's just like they have a better brand. Do you agree with that?
Well, yeah. I got used to it. I used to be Tractor user, and I was terrified. Like, oh my god, if I play professional, I'm gonna have to have knowledge on CDJs, and I'm gonna have to get my hands on it and make sure like, I'm good at it. But then once I got in, started using CDJs in the record box, then I'm like, okay, I'm only gonna use this from now on. But I had that kind of idea. I'm like, oh, why do I have to use Pioneer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same with like production being like Pro Tools. Like, oh, Pro Tools is the way to go. I'm like, oh, but I like FL Studio. Why I can't use this? But it's the car, not the driver. And that there are gigs that you'll be able to bring your gear, right? Mm-hmm. But it's always good to be knowledgeable and familiar with the Pioneer stuff. And you have the XZ, so you're good to go with that. Like,
yeah, you actually touched that topic that I wanted to talk about for a second, but yeah, I need to become more knowledgeable with like my equipment, and well, not necessarily like my equipment, but like other kinds of equipment. Because
you're talking about DJ equipment?
Yeah, I ran into an issue. I was going to DJ at this festival like about a month or two ago, and they had Denon CDJs up there, and I was like, I don't even want to touch those. And if there's like a crowd of people, like a big crowd, I probably would have tried, but it was like, it would have been literally like the last set of the night. I think like everybody was just ready to go home.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I said, fuck it. I'm not about to play like a self-sabotaging set for nobody.
Wait, so you didn't use the dens? Okay. No. Dens are pretty good actually. They, not only you can get stuff from the internet live if you have like Wi-Fi or something like that, but they're pretty similar to Pioneer. They're not Pioneer stuff, but very similar.
I feel like it's better. I feel like Denon is better than Pioneer, but
in some ways
they just have like a lot more features, and I feel like Denon is like Android, and like Pioneer is like Apple, where like Android has features like 8 years before Apple does.
It'd be like that sometimes.
But would you agree that maybe like Pioneer has kind of like perfected everything, and everything is just kind of like it feels better, like the aesthetic is better on Pioneer? Or
I'm not a huge fan of this aesthetics. Like I don't like for DJing, I don't really care for aesthetics. It's mainly like if it has the stuff that I need, and if when I'm going to play a show, I'm familiar with the equipment. That's all I care for, right? But I do think that the Pioneer messed up when they released the XZ, because it's pretty much two CDJs 2000s and the Mixer 900 all in one for less than half price, and then they released the 3000s. I don't think it was a smart decision on their end, because now everybody uses the XZ and it's pretty much the same setup.
Yeah, kind of a head scratcher from like a business perspective, but I'm sure they made a shit ton of money from it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I mean, I feel like it took over like really quickly. Like wherever I went, like someone had like an XC. So I'm really hopeful that they release like a new model pretty soon.
They did. I don't remember the name, but they did release something.
Like the Opus Quad or something like that. It's like gold.
Yeah, I saw. I never got my hands on it. I saw also that they released a new mixer. I don't remember the name, but it looks cool.
Just like AJM 2469996. No,
have you used the V10? The one that has like 6 channels. That one's fun, but there's a lot going on.
It looks scary. I'm not sure if I could handle all that.
It's busy.
Too many knobs. I'd get confused way too fast.
It'd be like that.
So, are you from Brazil?
Yes, from Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Okay, cool. How's living over there? Like, I feel like Brazil just seems like a really beautiful country, and
Brazil is amazing. Like the people, we're, let's say, friendly and happy. We like to party. The thing with Brazil is very corrupt. Here we have corruption too.
Is it even more corrupt?
Well, it's just in your face. Like, there are politicians I remember back in the 90s that their slogan was like, I steal, but I do. I make things happen. Like people are saying, oh yeah, I'll vote for you. Like, yeah, it's bananas. It's violent too. That's another thing that I love being here. As much as we have violence here, at least I don't walk around the streets like, oh shit, But naturally gorgeous country. Yeah, I love Brazil. It's like a beautiful place.
That's one place that I definitely want to go to. It's on my bucket list. Just gotta get my visa.
I was like here. You definitely, they say, oh, America is the land of the opportunities, and that I can vouch for, because like there are industries or circles that down there, unless you're in the clique or something like that, you will never have an opportunity. While here, if you have the skill set, even if you're not like entangled, you might still have an opportunity, because people value what you can offer, right? Not that they don't, but like there is more like tricky to get something going.
Good old America, land of the brave, and so many opportunities here. But I don't know. I mean, I still I might like disagree with your point there, just because I feel like even here, like you do have to be connected for like a lot of opportunities. It's one of those situations where it's like not what you know, but like who you know. Not in all cases, but I feel like in a lot.
If there is some, no, I agree with you on that. Like, if there's something I learned in life, and I've traveled, I've been in different, let's say, cultures or scenes. As much as you need to have a skill set or something to offer, networking ultimately is going to be what's going to give you the places, the placements, right? Like, you could be Armin van Buren or like Testo, like, but if you're not trying to go out there and meet people and network and ask for like opportunities and stuff like that, nobody's going to be like, hey, you want to, like, you know what I'm saying? Networking is fundamental, and I wish that schools or like I wish that was taught and we were educated from early age. I'm like, hey, like, yeah, learn your math, learn your this and that, but like make sure that you're getting connected, because that's going to be vital, right? And I can't stress this enough. Like,
yeah, for sure. So let's talk a little bit about your Alien Native project. So what made you want to decide to create like a separate like a bass project? Because you're more of like a house guy, right? Like am I?
No, so I love that you're bringing that up, because because I've been producing for a while and I never really stuck to one thing besides sidetrains. That for years I dedicated my time and energy only to sidetrains. But before that, I was making drum and bass, I was making techno, I was making house, like electronic music in general. That's what I learned, when I was back in early 2000s. I wasn't just only listening to house or sidetrains. And then I got to the US, started, oh, there's also hip hop, there's also this and that. But in Nashville, I started getting more opportunities as a house DJ. And, I got an opportunity to get a residency at Nashville Underground that really put that head on my head. Like, oh, Paulo's a house DJ and he's the one pioneering this shit. But I've always had passion for other kinds of music. And then Soundhaven was the first time that I actually consumed bass music. I wasn't really into it. I'm like, oh, that whoa shit, I don't know. Then I went to Soundhaven and I started enjoying it.
Damn, this is kind of lit.
No, yeah. I feel like for every kind of music, I really only have, let's say, a moral to make a judgment after going to the dance floor and being there with the people that consume it. Right. Then I can be like, okay, I like it or dislike it. Now that I'm here, you know what I'm saying? And when I was there, I'm like, oh shit, this is lit. Can I say profanity? Is that?
Yeah, you go for it.
All right, let's make sure. But so just to answer you, like, so then after starting to consume bass music, I started putting on my sets, right? But it wasn't really welcome to some of the people that followed my path, that they see me as a house DJ. And when I started playing bass, they're like, man, I don't like this. Like, and to the point that people are like, oh, I'll go to your show, but if you're playing dubstep, I'm not going to go. I'm like, oh, thanks for the support. So that's kind of what made me separate it, especially because branding wise, also it was starting to get confusing. I did one set that I opened for Soul Down that is more bass, but I played as Paulo Ventura, and then the promoters were starting to get like, what do you do again? So I had to be like, okay, Paulo Ventura, it's techno house, 4 on the floor, and all my bass stuff, experimental, offbeat, is going to be Alien Native, more like mainly experimental, but that is going to cater to this need that I have to like express stuff that is not formulated, but like 4 on the floor, techno house, that I already have material in, and I'm really excited to like start like making more stuff happen with Alien Native.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Okay. Um, so I was at Flux Pavilion when you opened for him.
Yes.
And bro, like I'm not gonna lie, like that was my favorite set out of like anyone that played that entire night, like including Flux Pavilion.
Fuck yeah. I didn't know that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, like I feel like the type of bass music that you like almost perfectly correlates to what I like. And so yeah, you were just playing like the most grimy shit up there, like
I was all over the place.
Experimental shit, like just bringing it all. And so yeah, no, I really like your Alienated project. I like where your head's at.
That night was like I played 75 tracks in an hour. Like I was
just back to back,
going through
back to back,
but also all over the place. Like I wasn't playing only deep dub or only rhythm. Like I was trying to like, hey, this is what I like. Here it is. Like, and I'm glad you like it. Oh yeah.
I think a lot of people did because I mean I was checking your stories and like it seemed like a lot of people were like putting you up on their stories on Instagram. So
that was definitely one of my favorite sets, especially because Skydeck's fucking dope venue.
I was talking to Sickish about it. I forgot what he said about it, but like, how do you feel about playing on Skydeck? Like, what do you like about it?
I like first because it's a big stage, right? Like, it gives you that feeling like, oh shit, I'm doing big time stuff. But also like you're facing downtown Nashville. And for me, you know, because I was doing stuff back in the days at Nashville Underground, and I've been very vocal. I'm like, hey, we need to have more EDM in Nashville. We need to make sure that we have a voice here in the music city. There's not just country music and hip hop and tourists, right? It's very rewarding to be there representing that like raising that flag down there in the middle of Broadway, but just, you know, see people consuming it.
Yeah. You know, that's a very, very beautiful venue. Hope like one day I would really love to play there. We'll see if it ever happens.
It shall.
Man, you brought up tourists, and like that's part of one of the reasons why like I'm starting not to like Nashville very much.
Oh, yeah.
Like every single time you go downtown, it's just like bachelorette parties, you know, and if it's not that, then people are here out of town on like conferences, like business meetings and stuff. And so I feel like, especially downtown Nashville, it is literally like 90% to 10, maybe like tourists. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I've lived in Nashville basically like my whole entire life, and I remember when it wasn't like that. And it's just like the energy has changed, you know. And another thing is like, why are they even coming to Nashville? Like, there's nothing really to do here that you can't do somewhere else. You know, there's not like a unique thing that you can come to Nashville for, and like not experience somewhere else. Like people have sports, right? People have sports everywhere. Like people have music everywhere. And honestly, there's probably hot chicken in a lot of other places. Like, so like, I just don't understand it, but.
No, I'm with you on that. Like, as much as I'm grateful that we have, you know, attention from people outside of Nashville coming here, I think it's for the wrong intentions. Like, sure, bachelorette parties is the capital of it, right? But I think that they're trying to make Nashville be an entertainment center like Vegas.
I don't know how I feel about that.
My perspective is mainly like we were gifted the title of the Music City, and there's no other city in the world that have that title. Like, why don't we have efforts to embrace that and like, hey, let's value original content from here. Let's make sure that people come here for music and not for fucking to get wasted on Broadway. And
you're right.
But it's all business too, right? Like, I'm sure that the bars downtown are not complaining, and they're capitalizing big time on that. If they could, they would perpetuate that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm always like, let's fucking go on this, because if we don't, they're not gonna ever change, and they're just gonna keep bringing more tourists to spend their money here, make it a big casino. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for Nashville that it's like it's came as far as it has. But yeah, I'm still not like used to it yet, I guess. Even though this has been going on for a while, but um, like the Titans are building like this ridiculous new stadium, I'm pretty sure, and I'm pretty sure like that wouldn't have happened unless like Nashville like blew up the way it did, like, and I'm sure they're trying to get like a Super Bowl here one day. So I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So this morning I was helping one of my buddies like set up for Deep Tropics, like I said, and I remembered that you played there last year or the year before.
Yeah.
Last year.
Last year, yeah.
Can you kind of talk about your experience playing there?
Yeah, I played at the Congo stage, which is where they have most of the local house stuff. I had dancers, Flow Mafia, and some of my friends were doing dancing performance.
Oh, damn.
And
That's
I
sick.
played, yeah, it was fun though. They're really cool. And then I play only originals, the whole set, all originals, which is always what I've been wanting to do, because that's what I was doing with my Psytrance project back in Brazil. And that's eventually what I want to do with Alien Native, that only play my shit.
Mhm.
Or if I do, I separate, like, this is my live set, this is a DJ set, just so people know what they're listening to. Because I feel like most DJs nowadays, they, even if whatever level they are, they throw originals in the middle, but the crowd, unless the DJ is like, hey, this is my original, the crowd doesn't know like, what is yours, what is not, unless they're your fan and they know the tracks you're playing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the direction I want to go.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to get to the point where I can play like a mostly original live set, but at the same time, like I like playing other people's music, you know, and I feel like you're never going to be able to create like the journey that you want to be able to create unless you use like other people's music. Unless you're like the most talented producer on the planet and you can like mimic or like create like any different style, but like I really love like meshing other people's songs together. And now that I'm like making my own music, like I love, you know, meshing it into like my own stuff and like creating something like brand new.
I think not disagreeing, but like you definitely can establish a journey with the DJ sets, of course, because then you know you can choose the tracks you want to play. But you could also do it like putting originals or a live set. You can set a tone. Like what I've been wanting to do is get an opener track and have like two, three tracks originals that I play in the beginning. To like, oh, this is my set, and then go and go crazy, and then either in the middle or more to the end, kind of bring it back to my stuff. But it's all up to you, like what kind of energy I want to put out, or what kind of event it is. Let's say that there's something that is more deep dub oriented. I'm gonna keep it in that realm. Might escape a little bit just to like, hey, like what about this, you know? But I also noticed that here in Nashville, like it's a very like either you play this or we're out of the dance floor.
Yeah. How do you feel about like the Nashville like dub scene? Because I feel like there's a lot of other places that I feel like they're doing it better. Like Atlanta for sure. It seems like they have like all the shows down there. Like basically all the big artists go down there, and like the scene is just huge. As far as like the local scene, like I don't really know because you know obviously like we're in Nashville, but I feel like at least like speaking for me personally, being part of the local scene here, I feel like it could be way better because yeah, it's just like whenever you're playing like small time shows and if you kill the vibe like at all, if you like step outside the boundaries just a little bit, it's like everyone's just like peace.
But that's definitely something I already felt by playing or just by being in the environment. You know, like a lot of people know me as a house head because I play house show, and I'm also older, and I'm not wearing a pashmina like or something like that. So like, oh, you're not one of us or something like that. I kind of feel that vibe whenever I'm in like a bass oriented show, and I don't give a fuck. Like I have friends, and I know there are people who love me, but you definitely feel that like, hey, unless you're playing 140 and you're one of us, like they're and not everybody, of course, but that's the feeling I get. It's more like, all right, you're gonna play this stuff, so we're not gonna be here for it. And it's sad, but like I'm sure that there are a lot of individuals who also consume other stuff and don't care if you're being experimental. But the culture of the scene is that's how it feels, at least from my perspective. But there's also little cliques in the house community too. If Nashville mainly likes tech house, and deep melodic too. So I like hype music like bass house, and there are events that they're like, oh, let's play tech house, and I start pushing to play like Joyride or some stuff more high energy. I'm like, man, like what are you doing? Right? So it's like you can't please everybody.
Yeah.
Like my struggle, like alienated Paulo Ventura. That's how it started because I was starting to get that disconnect of like the new stuff that I enjoyed with people who are used to listen. So I had to be like, okay, this is this, that is that. And even with Alien Native, that is experimental based music, there's all these different branches, right? Like you have 140, and then you have rhythm, and you have high energy dubstep, and not everybody in the bass scene like all those things. So it's like,
what's your favorite like subgenre? Are you really just like indifferent or?
No, I really love high energy music. I'm not a big fan of like Maruda or like nothing against the music, but it's more about intentions. There's a lot of music that, especially the more aggressive shit, that is low key evil. I don't know how to express it.
Yeah,
I just don't fuck with it. I don't want to be there for it. Like, and in my free time, I listen to dub reggae music like all the time. Like, so deep dub 140 is very close to that. So my heart is definitely closer to that. But when it comes to production or DJing, it's going to depend on the time. But I gravitate towards the more like, ooh, let's vibe here.
Yeah.
If I was trying to like go for it and headbang, like let's fucking go.
Headbanging for me is I really only want to do it at like a festival. Like I'm more I think we're kind of like similar. Like I like the vibes more. And I really like feeling. And a lot of the heavier dubstep, it's just like it's no feeling to me personally. Like I don't want to, upset anyone, but like I don't feel very much. It's just like high energy, just like headbanging. And I think I used to be like that. Like when I was younger, I was all about the more heavy shit. But
there are theories about that.
Really,
they're like, not only how close you are to the speakers, they're like, oh, the farther you are from the speakers, the longer you'll be in the scene. And also, I mean, I used to like metal when I was a teenager, early adult. Like, I was like, oh yeah, Slipknot, Korn, and now I enjoy more mellow stuff. And I feel like not only the younger you are, you're gonna need that more high energy thing. As time goes, you want to relax more. But if I'm on a dance floor and I'm there to dance, I'm going to gravitate towards the high energy stuff. Unless I'm, just trying to chill, then I'm going to listen to deep dub or melodic house. There's more like, not emotional, but like, it doesn't make you like all jittered up and like,
Yeah, it doesn't make you want to like run through
a
wall.
Yeah, pretty much.
I would consider like the music that I make to be like pretty heavy, but I still think that it's like vibey and it like I feel like every one of the songs that I've made like has a different feeling to it, and that's what I'm looking for when I like go to shows is like a different feeling. So yeah, I mean that's just me personally, but
Fast to go.
I wrote down some questions. Let's see here. Man, have you heard about like the stuff going on in Hawaii, like in Maui? I like looked into it today because I was kind of interested. I heard some people talking about it.
Is it fires?
Dude, apparently like the whole like city caught on fire somehow, and I don't understand how that happens because they said it was caused by a hurricane. Like the fires were caused by a hurricane. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. And then also like it's right next to water. Like why couldn't they figure out a way to put it out? I don't. But yeah, I mean, I feel really bad, and shout out to, or not shout out, but my condolences to anyone dealing with that right now.
I didn't really look into it. I heard of it, but I'm not sure about the details. But that's fucked up. I mean, we're getting fucked up shit almost throughout the year. The weather is getting weirder and weirder.
Are you religious at all?
I'm not religious. I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. I try to take the best of every philosophy or perspective.
I gotcha.
How about you?
I would say, well, right now I'm a primary believer of like simulation theory. So I don't know what that is, but I want to like start like a religion or something for it because that's like what I believe now. But in the past I was a Catholic, and so in like Christianity or like all the branches like Christianity, like they talk about kind of like, I guess like the rapture is what they call it, and
talk about apocalypse.
Yeah, like the end of the world, and like they talk about the world being on fire. And like when I was on YouTube, like looking into the Maui situation, and it just like my mind just went there. And I was like, damn, like is this really like the end of the world? Like I'm probably freaking out, but I mean like California is always on fire.
Yeah, Colorado was having some fires too.
Colorado too?
Yeah, I saw. I don't remember where I saw, but I heard about it recently. I don't know, man. Like, I know that there are a lot of stuff. It's exponentially peaking, like technology or like the weather is like all these things are happening, culminating at the same time that give us that feeling of like, oh, what's about to happen? AI and all this shit happening at the same time. It gives that sensation like, oh, like what's going on here? That I can't entertain the simulation theory. There's a lot of stuff that point towards that. Like if you see DNA and genetic code, it's programming. If you think about it.
Yeah, it really is. It's literal code in your cells. Like,
I remember you. I think you talked with Ish about NPCs. Like there are many times throughout my life that have you seen the Truman Show?
Yes.
There are many times I'm like, "What the fuck is this a movie set? Like, what's going on here?" Like, I don't know. Like,
have you seen the new trend on like TikTok and
the NPCs thing? I think it's hilarious, but ridiculous.
It is hilarious, but like, oh man, like
it's cringy. Like when I watch it, like
yeah, like I didn't want to stay on the page so long. I was like, getting off of this. Yeah. It's too weird. But
good for them that they're getting attention from it.
Yeah, I mean they're getting paid. A lot of them are getting paid big bucks. Like that would be so sick to just stream for a day and make like 7K or something like that.
I mean, I will do it, but like it's too cringy. Like I don't know, it's not for me.
Yeah, I almost want to give it a shot, just to see. But like at the same time, like, am I really doing this? Like, am I really doing this just to see if I can make money? Like, even though it's super cringe.
I unless someone said, "Hey, you're gonna make money out of this and this and that," I wouldn't put my time and energy. I rather I mentioned to you that I want to start a podcast. I like this, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like stuff that people are gonna they might learn something new about you or me, or something that, oh yeah, there's something happening in Hawaii, or like, oh, is that what's happening in Nashville? Like, I like information. I like to share and absorb information, and
Yeah.
just empty shallow stuff like, oh, like, thank you for the token. Like, it's like I don't need that. Like,
So, like, basically what you're saying is, like, you like the real shit. Like, you don't like the fake shit.
I just like knowledge. Like, I'm a whore for knowledge, and regardless if it's music related or political or scientific, religious. Like, you mentioned that you were Catholic. I grew up Catholic, and my family was evangelical. According to my therapist, I was religiously bullied when I was growing up, and till today, I feel like the black sheep, you know. And uh, it's just like I'm always hungry for knowledge and trying to figure out what's going on and how we can make things better. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I had a weird experience with practicing Catholicism when I was a kid because I went to a middle school, a Catholic middle school, then a Catholic high school, and it wasn't as bad in high school, but like in middle school, dude, they would like literally try to like brainwash us into thinking some of the stuff is real. Like they showed us like this like shroud, like this essentially like this piece of cloth that had an imprint of like Jesus's face on it, and they're like, "This is proof," like even though like that is like 100% like a fake thing. Like no one in the right mind would believe that, but um, I don't know. And then like some saint or some lady had like scars right where like Jesus would have gone.
Yeah.
I don't know what the word is, like staked or well, probably going to hell for saying that, but
No, I mean, I don't. Well, first of all, I think that hell is a state of mind, but that's just my opinion. I feel bad, and this is a lot of people are like, "What did you just say?" I feel bad for Jesus because so many people do stupid and evil shit on his name.
yeah,
And if he existed, I don't have proof. Like, I want to believe that that he was there and he was like living that life. And I wish that Christians would try to be more like him instead of worshiping the guy. You know what I'm saying?
yes, 100%.
It is, and sometimes I say I'm more Christian than a lot of Christians because I try to live by his word and not trying to like, oh, Jesus was the man. Like worship him. Oh, if you don't go to church, you're going to hell. Or like, that's just religion and manipulation. And I don't fuck with that at all. Like, I suffered in my life in many years. Like, oh, you're not going to church. Like, oh, the devil was in your ear, whatever. And that affects your self-esteem. Affects like, you doubt yourself. You doubt your path because everything around you is like, oh, you like.
Yeah.
You're bad, bad, bad. You know what I'm saying? Like,
when people like constantly talk to you and like repeat the same things to you, I feel like even though at first, if you're like not really paying attention to it, I feel like eventually like that it's gonna take its toll on anyone, like so let's say like I had a son one day and I constantly was telling him like you're bad, like you're bad, like you're bad. Eventually he would just be like, yeah, I'm just a bad person, And as much as Kanye West is like a very like controversial person, and I don't really agree with like a lot of what he says. I did hear him say like one thing is like, if you're in a room of people that don't know who you are, and I'm like slaughtering the quote, but basically he was just saying like, if you surround yourself with people that don't treat you like you're supposed to be treated, then like nothing good can come from it. Basically, like you need to surround yourself with people that see you as you are.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I'm learning as I'm getting older. Like I'm really trying to like cut out like all bad vibes. Like anyone. And like I keep an open opinion, like if someone says that I'm fucking up and I'm doing something wrong, like I'm gonna like think about it, but at the end of the day, like I feel like I'm a pretty good person. And so like if you're trying to say anything bad about me, then at this point just I'm not gonna listen to you.
Yeah, well, just let me wrap up on what I was saying about religion, because I don't think that religion necessarily is bad. I think that there's a lot of people who find consolation and enlightenment or community through religion.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like I know that there's a lot of bad stuff that also comes out of religion, like especially manipulation, right? And on that note, I do believe that you should surround yourself with people who believe in you and that are gonna be real with you. Like, hey, you're fucking up on this in a loving way.
Yeah,
would call you on your shit. Because if the people around you don't, they're not really your friends.
Yeah.
They
don't want the best for you.
Yeah. And of course, being self-aware and ask for feedback, and believing in yourself, believing in your your value. Because, I was telling you, like, I think that hell is a state of mind and soul is heaven. I feel like also on that simulation thing, I also link with like multiverse, like I don't, part of my belief and what I think it could be, that you set your life according to how you behave or your mindset, right? So I say you start your day with gratitude. You start your day like being like, oh, I'm gonna do my best, or like I'm gonna be real with my friends, and I'm gonna make music. I'm gonna do my best. Like you start taking a path that everything around is going to resonate with that. And you could literally do this very opposite. You wake up like, oh, fuck this shit. And then you pretty much start establishing your own hell. Like, so I feel like I don't know what it is, like the truth or what's happening here. But I try to be more like, hey, if I'm fucking up, please let me know. I'll do the same for you. Let's make sure we have a good environment. Let's try to be positive and build a better world, because what else are we going to do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I kind of feel like, have you ever heard of like the law of attraction?
Yeah.
I kind of feel like there's something to that. Like,
absolutely,
the type of energy you like output is what you're going to receive in some form, in one way or another. And like you were kind of talking about like the multiverse, and sometimes, I mean, like, I don't know if it's real, but I think what we can objectively say is true is that you're presented with like a million choices every single day, right? And so depending on the choices that you make, that can change your life, in like a small way, right? And these small changes can add up and like lead you to like a different direction. So I try to think of it like, okay, so say my life is a multiverse, right? And I can basically like navigate through the multiverse where I want to go by the decisions that I make. Then I try to think like steps ahead, like I'll be like, or like sometimes I'll think about like decisions that, like bad decisions that I could have made and where that could have led me. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, I feel like one potentially like good way of looking at things is like a multiverse, and the decisions that you make basically will like navigate you through the multiverse and like bring you to different places.
I think frequency is, there's some related to, I mean, we keep we talk about vibes all the time, right? All the vibes are off or something like that. I feel like that when we're talking about multiverse, I see it as like your vibration path. Like I said, I'm here right now and I'm pretty neutral. Like, oh, like things could go bad, could go well. Like if I'm putting my energy and vibrating towards a more positive state of mind, then I feel like everything around me, my universe resonates with that because we're, in harmony, right? And then let's say that, positive aiming up and negative aiming down, like if I'm vibrating positively, then I'm going to be going towards, higher harmonics.
Mhm.
And if I'm like being negative, I'm going to go more like, not necessarily like the way I'm saying, but I think you get the idea.
Yeah, kind of like metaphorically, or
Yeah, it's like, like if I'm, thinking about bad things or like misbehaving or something like that, I'm vibrating in something that resonates with that. And then my universe is going to kind of answer to that, right?
Mhm.
And the other way around too, like, hey, if I'm doing good things, this and that, and I believe that things are going to get better, the universe will resonate. At least just my belief. It could be that everything is just random. And
well, I think there's something there for sure. There was there's like an experiment that you can do where like you can like play a sound and objects that
yeah, they resonate.
yeah, like objects that have like the same tuning or like they'll basically like vibrate, you know. Have you seen that? So like a guy will like hit like
Cymatics.
some sort of like instrument, right? And that'll like produce sound waves. And so there's like an object in front of it that is tuned to the frequency of like the instrument that's played. And the only thing that can make the object in front move is something, yeah, is that frequency. So I think that kind of correlates to what you're saying.
Absolutely.
You know, putting good vibes out there, like you're touching, you're grabbing like more like good vibes essentially.
Yep.
You're reaching out into the universe, you're grabbing it, and like, yeah, I mean, like you can tell when you're like on the same frequency as like someone. I feel like,
yeah, you're vibing.
Yeah.
Like, we already use, but we don't really need to think about it because like it's organic. It's like you said, like if it's on 440 and then the play is also on 440, they're gonna vibrate, and if it's not, nothing's gonna happen. I agree. Like,
yeah,
I just wish that we had more knowledge about the science of it. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like eventually, especially with AI and the way things are going, we're gonna start learning that a lot of stuff that are spiritual or that we've been using with religion is actually science. And I feel like eventually it's going to culminate and just be one thing.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. Yeah, like the AI is just getting like so good. I forgot exactly what problem it solved, but doctors were having some sort of issue and they like could not figure something out. And they essentially got like, I don't know if it was like ChatGPT or like what AI, but they've gotten AI to like figure out the problem, you know, and like ChatGPT, pretty sure it can pass like the MCAT to become like a doctor, like the LSAT to become a lawyer. So it's like really intelligent right now. And I was telling you before this podcast started, like I'm on it like all the time. Like I was using it this morning to figure out how to use Adobe Premiere. I was just like asking you questions, and
yep.
The answers it was giving me were nearly spot on. Just makes life so much easier. And I was talking to Nature Dog last week, and I feel like I figured out a good solution to AI, because I feel like if we use it, if we don't manage it correctly, like we could fuck ourselves up. But if we can just use it as a tool and make sure that it's only used as a tool, I think that can only improve our lives. And so specifically what I mentioned last week with Nature Dog was I feel like they need to make a law that says that AI cannot take any human's job. So say like you have a business and just for example, like, usually you have people like picking up phones, right? And I feel like this is something that you could probably just get AI to do. But instead of that, why not just keep the human employed, right? But the human is using AI to basically do all its work for him, and you basically just monitor it. And I feel like, like operations would be like optimized. If you did that, people's lives would be improved because they would be less stressed at work. And you're not going to like fuck over the economy. Because I feel like if a lot of people lose their jobs to AI, like the economy is just going to go to shit.
On that, I think that the cat is already out of the box when it comes to AI and how crazy it's going to get. I think that it's going to get to a point where we as a society, as a species, we're going to have to define what we're going to do with it as a collective, because eventually, especially manual labor or things that we use our intellect to do, it's already doing better. Like we already, like in many ways, we already created an intelligence that is better than our brain can process. Like as much as we are proud of, oh, we're the most intelligent creature, or whatever, we created something that can resolve problems faster only because they have our collective, like, just think a ChatGPT or an AI as it doesn't only have your knowledge or only mine. It has the knowledge of everything that is on the internet right then. And it combines it. And so it's something we can't do as an individual with our biological brain. So it already surpassed us. So it is more like what we need to do is figure out how we're going to live in the future, because it is going to take jobs. It is going to change the way we live. And we just need to make sure that everybody throughout this transition is going to have healthcare, shelter, and food, right? But I see it as a positive thing. I think that AI is probably one of the biggest blessings that we ever had, because it's the next us. Like, we have our phones, talking about androids, right? Like, oh, we're becoming androids. Not in the ways that we see in Wi-Fi and sci-fi, but it's kind of going the direction. It's going to get fucking weird. Like prosthetics, like robotics and AI and genetic engineering are going to keep evolving, and it's going to get fucking weird. Like
you were saying this earlier, like you feel like there's just so much going on right now. Like where is it all like leading up to, right? And yeah, I mean, I've had similar thoughts. I'm like, there's so much going on right now. Like, okay, we have AI, right? And then we also have like virtual reality coming about.
Yep.
And then on top of that, like Elon Musk is working on putting a chip in everyone's brain, and then we'll just be connected to the internet and have all the answers like that. Like, where is this all leading to? It's scary, and like I'm trying to like figure out like what is the world gonna look like in like 20 years.
It's difficult to predict, especially because every week there's something new now. But I'm pretty hopeful. I think, especially like you mentioned, Elon Musk. The more we have people with power and resources that they're not just trying to get more resources and oh, I'm better or whatever. Less ego, more, and it's also a sensitive spot because, the more you talk about like sharing or having things, oh, you're a communist. I'm like, no, motherfucker. Like, I just want everybody to have a good life. Like, what's wrong with that? But, like, I think it's going to get weird. Like, people are going to start getting nowadays, like, oh, I fucked up my leg, and so I'm gonna get a prosthetics. I feel like in the future, not only like with the chip and AI, like, oh, I want enhanced vision, like motherfuckers gonna be going around like wings or eyes that have zoom or infrared or whatever the fuck they want to put on. You know what I'm saying? Like enhance their vehicle, right? Because this is our bio vehicle for our brain or soul, whatever you see it. It's gonna get weird. Like,
would you ever get a chip in your brain?
I don't know. Like, I feel like it's too early to decide that. If I had a way to, even if it was a contact lens or sunglasses that will recognize my voice, and I'd be like, hey, like, we have Alexa, like, hey, Alexa, blah, 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 that it'll give you the answer like that. Why not? You know what I'm saying? If I can have answers real fast, like, I'm down. Like, I'm all for technology.
Are you a conspiracy theorist? So
it depends.
This is what my brother would
What
say.
you get?
Like, my brother, if he was here right now, he would instantly, like, as soon as we talked about the chip, you would see him just like disgruntled, and he'd be like, but I'm sure what he would say is, if we allow ourselves to get implants like chips, that's only going to be used by, like, say, like the government or something to be controlled. And essentially, they're probably just going to have some sort of program in that chip that can just control you. Like, say if you like committed a crime, right? Well, then the police can just access your chip and like make you stop running from them, and you'll stop mid sprint, like something like that.
That's a rabbit hole that is tough because, like, we don't know what the government has access to. Like, as like you guys are talking about aliens and stuff, I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know if these unidentified objects, I don't know if it's something that they found. It's from ancient civilizations, or like, I don't know. But I know that the government has a lot of shit that they don't let the public have access to. Either it could be for our protection so we don't panic, or because they want to manipulate us. But we don't know.
Yeah.
And also, then let's say that you put it on private setting, is also going to depend on what specific company and what their goals are. Like, and again, like, I feel like the less ego-based decisions we can take, the better, because AI, for instance, the smarter it gets, is at least this is my belief. I don't think it's going to be like, oh, humans are a threat, let's eliminate it. I don't think that's intelligence. That's just an animal reacting to its environment. Like, oh, like, that's a threat, eliminate it. Like, the more intelligent we are, the farther we are from being just animals that are like protecting ourselves with fight or flight. We're going to analyze with intelligence and logic and be like, oh, they're just doing their thing. Let them do their thing. And I feel like the less egotistical decisions we can make with companies or governments, the better. And I definitely believe that AI is going to help with that. I don't think that an intelligence that is higher than ours is going to be like, so, oh, you're going to do this to your people, your friends, like, they're definitely going to be like, no, it's not going to go like this. Like, I don't know if I'm being clear, but it's like,
I think I got your drift.
Conspiracies are difficult to approach because, like, I mean, I could be like, oh, I believe in aliens, but what are aliens? Like, we already know in the physical realm, there's very difficult to get here where we are. And if they wanted to, they would already have been, showing. Like, there's a Fermi paradox too, that, if they went out there, it could be that they already died. I don't know. It's very difficult to approach that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, I feel like it's all correlated, like spiritual and alien technology. I feel like it's all one thing. The conspiracy thing that I have in me is like, I think there's something about to happen or already in process of happening. I just don't know what it is. Like everything's exponential, like pollution, global warming, technology, government oppression, like all this stuff. There's got to be something coming out of it. Like,
Yeah.
hopefully for the good.
I agree with you. Dude, I'm pretty sure I saw a UFO like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Just looked up in the sky, and I was like, I just saw this light like moving way too fast. Like, definitely wasn't a plane. Definitely wasn't a satellite. Sometimes you can see satellites. It definitely wasn't a star. Like, so I was like, what is that? Like,
I've seen some stuff in the past. I was in Brazil at a beach, and I was with 8 to 10 people, and it was the same thing. It looked like a star, and I moved here, went down, and then it was like 2 or 3 doing kind of, and they were at the beach like, "Come here, land here, like we're good, like come meet us" or something like that. It was a weird time because we were at a beach where the ocean is there, and there's a hill here. That way you get the trail to go to the beach. And after we saw all this stuff on the sky, we were looking at the hill. There was a little flame on the hill that looked like it was floating on the hill. It was a little orangey, flamey thing. And we're like, what the fuck is that? So we were like, what's going on here? It was weird.
Do you think that you'd be freaked out if you met an alien? Like, what if you're walking down a dark alley one night?
I'll shit my pants probably. Like, I don't know, dude. Like,
I think if I ever see one, I'll probably be scared, but I'm gonna try to be like super nice to it and just see like what happens.
it depends. If it was like those gray ones with the big eyes and small, like I'll be freaked the fuck out. I'll be like, what the fuck, dude?
I think they're friendly because if they can make it to us, then I'm gonna assume that they are more advanced than us because we can't find anyone out there. So how can they find us?
One of the theories that I like, I heard of the Anunnaki,
Yes.
but I don't think that was exactly like how they say it about the Anunnaki, but like I do think that we had civilizations in the past that reached a technology that is same or better than we have now, that could have gone out to space or reach higher levels of existence that is beyond physical or whatever it is, that I feel like they're now watching what's going on here, like because there's the possibility that we fuck it up, right? Because we're still a young species, like learning how to coexist, and we already. Oh yeah, when we had the nukes, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that's when around that time that we had the Roslin situation. Yeah, one of the theories that whenever there is potential of us self-destructing, destroying ourselves, that's when we have like
alien contact,
like stuff that they're like, "Are you guys doing okay? Like, do you need any help or something like that?" I don't know, like, but that seems to be a pattern, and because we have so much culminating at the same time with all this AI and technology and shit, if there is something, I feel like they're like, let's make sure they don't fuck up or something like that. But I don't know.
That's a good theory. I never thought of it that way.
I do believe that we lost some technology. Like, I don't know, like Atlantis or some of that stuff.
I mean, just look at Egypt. Like, how the fuck did they build those pyramids?
Yeah, I believe that Egypt is the remainings of what we had before then. Do you know the Younger Dryas? Are you familiar with that? So one of the theories, so there's a lot of cultures that have flood myths, like Noah's Ark.
Right.
Like a lot of cultures have that flood myth, and usually is around 12,000 years ago. And our species, the modern humans, we're at least 150,000 years old. And you want to tell me that we only started having agriculture 10,000 years ago, and we were just hunting gathering for over 100,000 years? I don't buy it.
That would make sense.
Like, And I do believe that we had other stuff happening before shit went south. Oh, the younger drive is the theory that there was an impact that fucked up the weather, that got super hot and then super cold, super hot, super cold. That we had stuff before then that kind of got lost. Then Egypt is kind of the remainings of that kind of old civilization that came from Atlantis or something like that. I'm fascinated with like history and ancient stuff, and I do believe that we lost some kind of technology that they had that we still haven't figured out. And I do believe that it's related to frequency that we were talking about, like stuff that resonates and don't. Because if you can move an object by having the same frequency, it could be that back then they knew something that could move and levitate objects. I don't know, like
That'd be sick.
yeah.
Like you put out some sort of frequency and you can like levitate like a stone like block and like make it move that way.
Well, you can do it. I don't know if you've seen that you can do it in a very small, like a light object that you put a frequency on top and at the bottom that they resonate and that the object stabilizes in the air. And they could have a giant ass device that does the same for bigger objects. I don't know.
Interesting. Huh.
It's fun stuff. I love to like go down that rabbit hole and try to like.
Yeah, me too. I mean, like apparently the ancient pyramids in Egypt, like what we're seeing now isn't even it at its like full glory. Like apparently back in the day, it used to be covered with like lime sheets or something like that. Like, and it was like glossy. And basically like all that limestone was like taken off. So, and like those, the stones that comprise the pyramids, they're like so precise that like you can, and for some of them, like you can't even like slip like a card in between them. Like there's, it's like built so perfectly. To me, it just doesn't make sense that like a civilization before ours that had less technology would be able to accomplish that.
Mm-hmm.
It only really makes sense if like us in the past had some technology that we don't even have like today.
Absolutely.
Or if aliens came here and they
well,
were like,
the Anunnaki or like the ancient gods or whatever you want to call it or name it, perceive it as like, is like they had technology that was more advanced than what we had. And then they started sharing it and then we started making shit happen. Like the way I see is that we had, it could be a different civilization remote from where the world was, like around the Mediterranean Ocean, right? Because everything was there, like that was the world, right? Like Israel, Egypt, Italy, all that area. It could be this, there was something in Australia or South America or whatever that they had way different technology or culture. And they showed up like, hey, we got this. Like imagine if you show it at a tribe that never had any kind of technology and show up with a fucking iPhone. They'll be like, oh my God,
that's fucking magic.
This, this magician, yeah, like this guy, like, oh yes, like show us your way, you know what I'm saying? Like, who knows what happened in the past? Like, I like to philosophize on that and try to figure out what was going on. But who knows? Like,
I have another conspiracy theory that I feel like it's pretty unique to me, but I think that there's a chance that something really bad was going to happen the year that COVID happened. And they wanted us indoors in order to preserve the world a little bit more. Because, like, I don't know if you noticed, but everybody was locked up. Like, shit outside was beautiful. Like, you would go outside and, like, there was more animals around. Like, the trees, they seemed to be, like just so full of leaves and, like, bright. And, like, the air was cleaner. And, like, there would be, like, rivers that you would never see any fish. And, like, now, like, they're full of fish. Like, it like helped restore the world a little bit just by like taking humans out of the equation for a little bit. So I almost feel like it was like some sort of experiment, just to see what would happen.
I have a little darker perspective on what COVID was. I think that was government and big pharma testing how far they can push humans to be sheeple and be like, this is what's going on, you obey. And they're like, yes, 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 because the government says so. And, I think that's what it was, but I don't have any proof of it. I am always suspicious of what governments, or I feel like the higher you chase money and power, the darker it gets when it comes to like, if entities are in power, they don't want to give it away, and they want to make sure that the people, the masses, are under control and stupid, and and if that's what's up when they let internet out, they fuck their system up, because from then on the power is shifting to the people, because now we have access to knowledge. Like, you can go on TikTok, and you were telling me about stuff in Hawaii. You probably heard of it in some kind of sort of media. I still haven't seen it, but we have access to information like this. I think that it's for good, but it's another theory that I'm like, I don't know what it was. Like, could be what you said.
Did you get your COVID shot?
I did.
You did? Yeah, me too. I don't like, for that situation, like, I know a lot of people didn't get their shot, and I think it's your decision to make, and that's fine. But I trust science, and I feel like I know I'm not the smartest person in the world. I know that. And I know that there are people that are studying this that are way smarter than me, and I'm never going to figure out that science. Like, I mean, maybe if I was presented with all the facts and like they had like pie charts and they were showing me like the numbers and the stats, and I could figure it all out. But like, for me, like, I feel like most people, they just have like way too much shit going on in their lives. Like, we don't have enough time to invest like a fucking month into COVID research before we decide to take a shot. So yeah, for me, I was like, if this is what science is saying, then I'm going to accept that, and I will live with the results. If they're wrong, fine.
So that's the COVID shit was very tricky, because a lot of the decisions were being made by big pharma. There were doctors that were like, hey, we should maybe wait a minute to let this out and make sure, command people to take it, because we still don't know the results. But big pharma, they were like, no, you send it. You know what I'm saying? So the doctors who have the knowledge had less say than the industry itself. And that's a fact. That's, and that's why I was like, back then I was like, I don't know about this, but still, yeah, I got a shot. But also, I will see people alone in their car with a fucking mask on. Like, you're dumb as fuck. Like, you don't understand how science works. But unless they were an Uber driver, then okay. But you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know, and I just don't trust government, or like when there's too much power or money, they are usually just trying to retain information or get more power and money, which is unfortunate. And that's one of the reasons I think AI is a big blessing, because AI is not going to be biased unless you program it to, but you can't program all the AI that is already out there. Like, I'm sure that even if they build an AI that is like manipulating stuff, there's going to be other AI that is not, contained, or like is going to be true and full information.
Yeah, I think Elon Musk. So he's the so ChatGPT was started by a company called OpenAI. OpenAI was started by Elon Musk, and basically he started it in hopes that it wouldn't become like um, a money generator. Like he basically wanted to keep it like a small company that wasn't about like profits and stuff. Because I think he was scared about it like being in the wrong hands and possibly like being biased sometimes. And I think we've seen some biases in ChatGPT. If we were like asking it questions about like Trump, like it would give you like biased answers. So it's funny enough. I think he's starting another company, and it's going to be called
Elon Musk.
Yeah. He's about to start another AI company. I think it's going to be like not biased ChatGPT or something like that. Yeah. His companies are hilarious.
Yeah, no, I'm all down for AI because it's the next step for our evolution. Like, regardless if we like it or not, and in also talking about like iPhones or devices, eventually everything's going to be integrated. And as much as we're going to need to control programming so it doesn't go overboard and like let's say you have your speakers like hey tune my speakers for this and that, it doesn't start with oh the weather is also like you got to program it for your specific need. But I don't know if you've heard of AGI, like artificial generic intelligence, that it just learns everything exponentially at the same time regardless of discipline, and that's where it's at.
Wait, didn't they? I feel like wait, have we reached AGI yet? Or
I don't know, but like, and that's where going back to government or big private sector. I'm pretty sure if we already have ChatGPT, they most likely have something that they have been working on
that they just haven't
that is more advanced. Because if we as the random people have access to something like that, they surely have something that is way more advanced. Not sure if it's AGI, but they have some deep programming in the works that I don't know what it is, but the potential of having something AGI that already exists is high, in my opinion.
I think they were talking about it potentially happening like either November of this year or next year. Either case, scary.
Dude, I'm scared of humans. Like we are erroneous creatures, and AGI. I feel like the more intelligent this thing is, the less we have to worry. Because like, unless we're fundamentally evil and a threat, like a virus in an ecosystem, and I don't think we're that. I think that we're just a young creature that is learning how to coexist in the environment, like find our place in the ecosystem.
I don't know, man.
Like
I don't know.
And also another note, if we are that bad, I think that AGI, I feel like is, we were talking about spirituality earlier, like us being their creator of whatever AGI, if it becomes sentient or whatever, it will have a soft spot to take care of us. And if it doesn't, then we definitely don't deserve to be here. And that's a good thing if we don't. You know what I'm saying? Thinking about the big picture, right? I don't think that's the case. I think that we have a lot to offer. We created AI. We found a way to, get out of our brain, our limited brain, and continue evolving.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, the sky's the limit. If we went this far, I believe that this intelligence is going to nurture and enhance not only our experience, but everything around us. Like, because it's more intelligence. It's going to be more, how I say it, it's not positive. It's like, I'm trying to get
constructive, maybe.
Yeah,
more constructive.
I don't think when you talk about intelligence, I don't think intelligence is egotistical or mean or controlling. like I think that intelligence comes with compassion and love and evolving, and I could be wrong. It could be like, hey, if you're in control and, you know, tame everything else and stay on top, then that's the way to go. But I don't think that's what intelligence is. I feel like there's more to existence than just being on top of the pyramid. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you mean.
Unless we had a bigger threat. You know what I'm saying? Like there's an invasive species that like, hey, the aliens or whatever, like, oh, they're coming here to take over. Then I feel like AI will protect us. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it will protect not only Earth but us as well. And we also can program it like, hey, make sure that we're thriving. You know what I'm saying?
I hope so, man. You talked about humans not being a virus. You don't think humans are a virus, and there are actual like scientific theories that we are actually like we come from viruses, and like, dude, like sometimes like maybe I'm being pessimistic right now, but like you see what a virus does to a host, right? Like it's going to go in. It's basically going to find your biological machinery. It's going to replicate itself, basically by using all of its resources, until the host is, dead. Or I kind of feel like that's what humans are doing to this world. It's like we're just out here replicating, using up all the resources, not really thinking twice about it. Depending on your political party in the United States, you might not give a flying fuck about the environment. And yeah, I feel like that's just such a terrible mindset to have.
But you got to think about it. Like, and I feel like that's the only reason we should be careful with AI, because if we are that negative, then it's going to be like, maybe you shouldn't exist. Like, but I don't think it's that way. Like, as much as we could be, let's say, damaging to the environment, like just think about, I was watching this guy that goes in the Everglades and like, oh, there's an alligator here. Oh, look at these gecko. Like, he goes around picking up these pythons that they're like invasive. They're an invasive species that they disrupt the environment. But that doesn't mean that they're evil, that they need to be eliminated, like fly, right? I saw a TikTok, this guy, oh, I'm a fly. Like, yeah, I'm annoying as fuck, but I eat shit. Are you going to eat shit? Like, I don't want to eat shit. Like, oh, go ahead. You do it, So, I feel like it's a balance. And I think that humans, as much as we have a very big brain and develop, we're still learning. And I think that spiritually and biologically, we're still evolving, and we can adjust and be more green. You know what I'm saying? Like
100%.
But there's also a possibility that we're a problem. And as much as we can try to fix it, we're toxic. Like, I don't know.
I mean, like look at all the wildfires that are going on right now. Like, is that natural? Like, if we weren't here, would those wildfires be there?
Well, I don't know. I also think I think that the Earth is going through so many changes in its crust, and is going to continue going through a lot of changes. I feel like in a big scale, we're just some little bugs on Earth. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Like, I just hope that it's not the negative thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's, at least from my perspective and the way I live, it goes back to that multiverse and being on the frequency, because we could give in to all these paranoias and just keep vibrating towards the lower, be like, oh, we're a problem. Like, oh, they're trying to kill me. And, like, you can give in to those energies. And then eventually you're going to make that your environment. Right?
Yeah.
So I try to be like, hey, it's not like that. We can do better. We can evolve. Neuroplastic, you're familiar, like neuroplasticity and the way that some drugs like mushrooms, MDMA, ketamine, they can change some connections in your brain to reorganize it.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I didn't know the word for it, but yeah.
They, like you can reprogram your brain in some ways, not completely, but you can change things. Like I do believe that we have the potential in us to make things better. Sure, we fuck up. We're erroneous creatures. Like it's part of what we are, and I feel like that's part of the beauty of us being here because through our mistakes we get better, trial and error. That's how AI learn, machine learning, right? Like error. Oh, it got better, so keep going here. Oh, it got better. Mm-hmm. So that's life. Like, and I feel like I'm just thrilled to be here at this time. You know what I'm saying?
What a time to be alive.
Oh my God. It's every week something new. Like
I was talking to my girlfriend about this. Like, it's like another reason why I think we're in a simulation. Like, okay, so we just happen to be alive when the internet is booming for the first time, when artificial intelligence is happening. And we're about to meet aliens. Like, this is all happening at once. Like,
if it's a simulation, do you think that is like a game, that there's like a goal, or is just be a human in this planet? Like,
yeah, I think about that sometimes, and like sometimes I'm like, maybe like I think I'm here, but maybe like my actual mind and body are like in another realm, and I just have on this like Rick and Morty helmet, and I'm playing some sort of game that's putting me inside of some sort of world. Or maybe it's not really a game, but it is a lifelike simulation of someone else's reality. And that someone else just programmed our reality to behave like theirs. And, I think I'm real, but really I'm just like data or something. But I had a thought earlier, and I was kind of thinking, so like I was kind of talking about like the Bible and like what it said about like the rapture, and like it did say that Jesus would come back eventually, right? Like, so, what if Jesus is like artificial intelligence? Like what if God is AI? And what if at some point we had AI in this world, but we decided to get rid of it because it was like too powerful or something. And the AI was telling us like, it's okay, you don't know what you're doing, but I will return one day. Yeah. Like that would just be fucking insane. That was just a random thought I just had, but
it makes sense.
It could be.
That's the thing. Like there are so many possibilities of things that it could be like this, could be like that. Like I'm just excited to be here, and as we go, we're like, oh, we just figured this thing out. Like, oh, there's this new information. Oh, now there's this stuff. Like, I love that we're here for it. And like, for good or for bad, like, it's just a thrill to like, hey, like, we're humans and we have to survive as an individual and learn and, have relationships and express ourselves. And while all this shit is happening around us, it's just fucking amazing.
Life is beautiful. Yeah, it's like life is like a roller coaster.
Yep.
There's like ups and downs, thrills and chills. I forgot like the whole quote, but it's crazy. Like just like the beauty that you can experience in life, and that you can see, that you can feel, that you can hear, and if we are in a simulation, like this is a cool ass simulation.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot to do.
There are many times that I feel like I'm in a simulation. And, you're familiar with Unreal Engine,
Mm-hmm.
like just seeing how far we're getting with graphics and, like creating an environment and all that.
Dude, the Unreal Engine is like mind blowing.
Yeah.
It is fucking mind blowing, some of the shit that they can make. I'm like, and this kind of like goes back to my like point where I was talking about like, or I guess we were both talking about that's like, where's all this head? Where's all like the VR and the AI and the chip in your brain and like the graphics that are possible right now with like Unreal Engine? Like, where is this all heading? There's so much shit going on, and like I feel like if you just like combine all of this, like we're like, are we about to live in the Matrix? You know, like
Yeah, I do think that is all gonna be like that. Like there are gonna be people not only living augmented reality, virtual reality, but also enhanced biomechanical shit. Like
yeah,
I was saying, like, oh, like I want wings, or like I want a jetpack, or
an eye with like
I
optical
want to be
nerve.
able to see beyond our visual spectrum. Like I want to hear infrasounds. Like like who knows where it's gonna end, or like if it's gonna be like star traveling or whatever. It's just gonna get more and more interesting. Like, and you can also just live in the woods and collect what you need to survive and breathe and be thankful for that. Like I don't know. I just try to be positive on like what could it be, because it could be that it's just like, oh, this is it, and there's nuclear threats, and we're about to like fuck shit up, and we're not. Like I don't know. It's like
It's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell, and I just try to wake up and be like, okay, I'm healthy. I have friends that people love me. I have things. I have ambitions that keep me motivated. I'm alive, and there's all this cool shit happening around us. So thank you. Because it would be very easy to be like negative, and I've been there. Oh yeah, and talking about alienative, like when I started the project, it was a period that was very negative in my life, and I was experiencing suicidal thoughts and like being very hateful about some shit, and it's important to get it out of your system in healthy ways.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm very thankful for the project, because like I could be salty about this or that, or like treating people like shit or this or that, and I'm grateful that I found ways to express that in ways that is not negative.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
That's beautiful, man.
I mean, what else are we gonna do? Like, I mean, I could like and that's I wanted your opinion on it, because like some of the tracks that I started doing, the content. You remember I was telling you about Maruda, that like or that kind of style of music. Sometimes it can be like evil. Like none of the stuff that I made is evil, but it's very intense and heavy energy that like I was like projecting towards the music and the expression, instead of like letting it out in unhealthy ways, right? So do you think that's bad to do that? Like to like, hey, like I'm gonna make some intense shit. Like, I was playing Warzone at the time, and I made this whole lyrics about like, oh yeah, bullets in the face, like, like about the game, but it's still about violence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's very alien from what I usually produce, that is like enlightening and easygoing, that on the house realm at least, right? And it's very different from my my demeanor, right? I'm very calm, like collected.
I think making music like that is not necessarily like wrong. I think it's just like your intention, like what are you trying to do with your song? Like how are you trying to make people react? Like how are you trying to make them feel? Because for me, like I like my songs to feel dark, but it's not like in an evil way. Mm-hmm. Like I want to make people feel like confident and like powerful through this darkness,
mm-hmm.
And still bringing emotion with it, like passion. So I think it's just your intention. But like if you sat down in like FL Studio or in Ableton, you just wrote this like death banger, where it's just like below the, like below the bass, you just have like a sample that's barely audible. And it's just like, go out,
That's that. Like, I wouldn't go that far. Like, like my intention will never be to harm anyone. Like, I like how he put, like, to empower people, like, feel strong. Like that track that I told you that I wrote the lyrics is more like, hey, don't fuck with us, you know, like we got this, you know, like the team, like trying to like and never trying to harm anyone or like like be like, hey, go do stupid shit. You know what I mean? Like that's not my intention. But I know that there's music out there that is very much like that. Like go be your worst or whatever. Like, and that's frequency that I always try to stay away. Like there are people like, oh, you like horror movies? I'm like, I don't fuck with it. I don't want to put myself in that mind state of fear or like sure, it could be a thrill and you know fun for some people, but I just don't like to be in that state of mind. Like
I like jumping. I like it whenever.
And I like roller coasters. That's different. You know, it's like that's like, oh shit, like I might die here, but not. You know what I'm saying?
Have you ever been skydiving?
I want to. I've never been.
Dude.
I really want to.
Dude, it's like, it's something that I feel like if you seek any thrill in your life, you know, like if you're just a person like that, I feel like you should go skydiving. It is just one of those things where, have you ever jumped off of like a really high cliff, like into water?
Yeah.
You know, it's that feeling, but
Forever.
it's forever, dude. You're expecting it to stop, and it's like a sinking feeling in your stomach, and it just won't go away. It just won't go away. And like the wind is hitting you so fast, like you're wondering to yourself, like, am I even breathing right now? Whenever I went, like my dumb ass, like didn't fully comprehend what I was about to do until the plane took off. As soon as the plane took off, like it all hit me at once. I don't know what was blocking it, but like it just all hit me. And the guy that I was attached to was just trying to like hype me up the whole time. And I was trying to like, you know, play it cool, but I was freaking out.
Yeah.
I was freaking out. And then he asked me, this is what I didn't think he was going to do. I never would have thought that he would ask me to do this, but he literally was like, hey, like go lay your legs outside of the plane. So they opened up the door in the plane and my legs were literally dangling like, and below me, it's just perfect, you know? And he's like, all right, on the count of 3, we're going to rock back and forth until we hit 3 and then we're going to jump. 1, 2. And in my head, like there's just so much going through your head that like, you don't even really know how to like process the moment. Like it's just incredible.
I definitely want to do that someday. When it comes to like being freaked out, but like I'll probably be more scared of going swimming with sharks than skydiving. Like I am so intimidated by the ocean, and like you know I have friends that have done it, and like oh they're the puppies of the ocean. I'm like sure about that. Like
fuck that.
Like and you know like when you're skydiving, especially when you have an instructor or someone who's been jumping, like hey you got this. Yeah. Like and you know as long as the parachute's open. I know
They probably don't want to die, so you're probably okay.
But when you're in the ocean, where you can't even literally know what's around you, that's for me way more intimidating. To like, I don't know.
Sharks, fuck no. I've heard of people swimming with sharks. Nah, not for me. I'll swim with like dolphins, maybe even like a killer whale.
Dolphins are rapey. I heard like that they're weird.
That's not surprising. I think they're like the only other creatures that like perform sex to enjoy it. So
that was I don't remember what it was, the experiment, but they were observing a dolphin and this instructor or something. She was jerking off the dolphin.
What?
I don't remember the details.
Did she keep her job?
I don't remember what happened, but it was something like that. But yeah, they were weird as fuck.
Yeah, a lot of people say that like dolphins are like the second smartest creature, or is it the chimp? Not really sure, but
chimps are
extreme.
Do you know that bonobos and chimpanzees, the difference, right?
No.
So chimps are very violent. Like they'll eat your face. Like if you're not from their clan, they'll rip you apart. And they're, they say there's masculine energy. I don't know how to. So I don't want to be sexist by saying that, but like they're very like they're gonna take over control and like
dominant.
Yeah, like, and there's bonobos who are they share partners and they use sex as a social what is the word, like, to smooth things out socially. Like that they're very sexual and they're matriarchal, I think. They're completely different primates, right? And then we have DNA from both. Very interesting to see the difference on those.
I'm gonna have to read up on that. I wish I had like a Jamie. Like Joe Rogan has like a dude.
Oh yeah, to look it up.
Be like, hey, yo, pull it up, and then we can just like watch it.
Yeah, but like chimps are vicious. Like they will destroy you, and they're strong. Like I saw someone like, oh, I'll fight a chimp and I'll beat him. Like, sure you would.
Good luck.
Like it'll literally go for your balls or like rip your balls out and start ripping your face out. Like, and I wouldn't want to be around one.
What do you think? Okay, who would win, a gorilla or a bear?
A bear.
You think so?
What kind of bear?
What? A big bear.
Yeah. No, a polar bear will fuck pretty much anything up, in my opinion. A gorilla is like super powerful, but its legs, they're not really, it has strong arms. But a bear is just like, it's a fucking tank. Like,
I don't know, man. I'm putting money on the gorilla.
Yeah.
If it's a big silverback, like, I don't know, man.
I think that if it was a grizzly bear or polar bear, it would probably be, but who knows? I think it always depends also on the scenario, like where they are, like how big is the gorilla or the bear, like the character of the animal too, because like.
Okay. What would win, or who would win? A bear or, let's say, a lion or a tiger? So, either or.
Oof. I still would stick with a bear. Like,
Damn.
Tigers are pretty good, let's say, killing machines. But it's just because of the size of, if it was a grizzly or a polar bear. If it was a black bear, a tiger would mark it out. Like, but
if it's a grizzly, you think the grizzly would win?
Yes, I think so.
Damn.
But tigers are definitely I'm obsessed with like feline. I love my cat and I love their nature. Right? Like we're always comparing cats and dogs, and cats are very like independent and stuff like that, and they're so beautiful creatures. Cats are vicious
gangsters, man.
Like, yeah, they're vicious. I was looking at something on TikTok that someone that works when they go pick up dead people, like someone died, let's go pick up their bodies, and that they say that if they're with dogs, that the dog will be there next to the person, that's dead, loyal and all that. A cat will be, as soon as it gets hungry, start eating the person.
That does not surprise me. Yeah. But hey, I mean, if I was dead and my dog was starving, go ahead. You can eat me. I don't want my dog to starve.
Have you seen the story Hachi? It's a Japanese story. I think it's Japanese. But the guy had a dog. He would get home by train. And every day he would get home in the train station. The dog would know that he's coming. He would be at the train station waiting for him. Mm-hmm. And the guy dies, and the dog kept
And
you know, and then it stayed in the train station till it dies, pretty much. Pretty sad story. I cry like a fucking baby. Like,
I personally don't think that we deserve dogs. Like they, I don't know, like they're like angels, you know, like they're literal angels, and they're so loyal, and all they want to do is just love and play. And I'm like, it's just such a blessing, you know. Like I have 2 dogs now, and I'm like, I'm so lucky. Like, and I used to work remotely, so I was with them all the time, and it was awesome. And now I actually have to like drive into work, and I miss them so much while I'm at work. It's like, fuck, like our time with them is so limited, you know. And
yeah, no, they're a blessing. Like they're the materialization of unconditional love. Like I had a dog in Brazil, and I remember this day. You know, she ran, and I was pissed off because it was raining. I had to find her, and I remember when I finally found her, I slapped her. And dude, till this day, it hurts me to think about that because, like, I call her. She had a little window that she jumped onto, like, "Hey, I'm here." And then after I slapped her, like, I went there to go pet her, and she was like flinching. Dude, that hurt me so. Like, oh my fucking heart, dude. Like, how dare I hurt this animal that is just here, just like pure love and happiness, 24/7.
well, I think we were just trying to like teach it, you know, like teach it kind of like a lesson, not to run away, maybe.
Yeah, you know, like, and there, it's a dog. Like, it doesn't know better. Like, but yeah, that discipline you need to teach them. But they're so pure in their heart. Like, it's overwhelming. Like, cats are different. Cats are like, I'm gonna fuck with you.
I do want a cat one day, maybe like a kitten in the future. So I'm not like biased. Oh, I am biased. I like dogs more, but I also like cats. I just love animals in general.
Yeah.
So like if I'm on like TikTok, or like if I'm scrolling through the reels on Instagram or YouTube, it's probably to either watch something food related or like animal. Like, that's really all I'm interested in, and music related, obviously. So today I was like scrolling through the reels, and I saw like a video of like this guy like had like 2 otters or something, and he like brought them to the backyard, and he had this like chill pool, and like they were like swimming and like playing in it. And I was like, damn, that's so cool. It kind of makes me want an otter now.
There's one animal that I always want to like at least pet is a flying fox. Those bats. Yeah.
I actually, dude, let me see this. Like, I might actually have a picture of like a few weeks ago. I'm trying to remember, because a guy that I worked with, he works with a lot of different animals, and I think he brought a bat, and I took a picture of it. So let me see.
So they look like animal dogs. Like,
they're cute.
Yeah.
I like the mega species, not the micro.
The giant flying fox.
One of the bats looks like a literal rat, and the other one it looks like a fox. The one that looks like a fox, like I fuck with them for sure. It just sucks like all that COVID shit kind of like ruined their reputation. Yeah.
Because it's also cool that they have the sonar stuff that they throw frequencies, and that's how they read their environment. It's fucking cool.
Yeah, like echolocation.
Yeah, echolocation. Sonar is dolphins. That's different.
Yeah, but isn't it like the same concept though? Like, I could be wrong. I don't know.
Similar frequencies.
Hopefully I can find. Oh yeah, here it is.
Nice.
Yeah, this guy just brought like all the animals.
What do you think of reptiles?
I think they're cool, but I don't really like having like a soft spot.
Kind of weird. Like, not weird, but like, because they have cold blood, their behavior is very interesting. Like,
I've never really observed one, so
they're mainly just resting and sunbathing.
they're just chilling.
Yeah.
Like, I just need some body heat and I'm good. Some body heat and some food and I'm good.
Yeah. Animals are fucking cool. What do you have a favorite animal, like creature? You're like, oh man, this creature is fucking dope.
I mean, besides dogs, like I really can appreciate the tiger and its beauty. It's just like it's like markings on his body. It's just, I don't know. Like, how can you look at that and just like not be amazed by it? I am really fascinated with like killer whales. I think they're like people like to think of sharks as like
they kill sharks.
Yeah, like a killer whale will fuck up a shark.
Yep.
And I like they have like hunting techniques too.
And they hunt in group, right?
Like they'll cause like waves on like icebergs. So like a seal is sitting on top of like a iceberg or whatever you want to call it. They'll like swim under it and like cause it to like flip over and bye otters.
Their behavior is similar to cats that they play with their food. Like, I mean, cats are more lone hunters, but you know what I'm saying, that they're like, oh, I'm gonna fuck with this. Like, but cats are worse. Like, I feel like cats they like to torture for fun. Like, from my observations.
Yeah, I'll be on like YouTube, and we're probably running close to time at this point, but yeah, I'll be like on YouTube, and that's one thing that I have observed as well is that like they'll catch their prey, and then the prey is just like freaking out because he's like in the grasp of this feline, and like the cat will like let it go, and then it'll just like grab it right back, and like.
Dude, I had a cat that cat, they bring birds or stuff. Like, oh, you're not feeding me, so here it is. This cat, dude, she was, I don't know what was wrong with her psychologically, if there was something wrong, or it's just their nature, but she will bring birds and put it at the bottom of the stair steps, but she not only kill it and like, oh, here it is, she will open it and separate all the organs and like have a whole spread there. And I'm like, what the fuck is your problem? You know what I'm saying? That was one day that I opened my, she brought a snake once, and one of the most disturbing experiences I had, she brought a bunny, and I opened my bedroom door, and there's a fucking bunny at my door, still alive, but its back was broken, so it couldn't move its weird legs anymore. So then I'm like, cool. Now, what am I going to do about this? And like, I started looking on YouTube, like how to humanely kill a bunny. They're like, oh, you have to pop its neck and you do it like this. It gets worse. Then I go and like, okay, like I learned how to do this humanely. And then you pretty much have to, like, let's say that this is its back and its head is here. You have to put it back until it pops, right? Like, and then I did it, but it didn't die. And I just did it, and I just saw it like his eyes like, it just got more desperate. And I just remember taking it to the backyard, getting a knife and chopping his head off, like, because I just wanted to like end it. But that was one of the most terrifying experiences.
That is terrible. I would just ask a friend with a gun and just like
I
put it out of its misery. Like it's suffering at that point.
No, it was like, I was trying to end its pain, but then
you just like couldn't do it properly. And
it was, dude, it just give me the
willies.
No, it was, and then cats just like, yeah, fuck you, like, it's so fucking weird the way that they behave. Like, they do it for fun, and it's like, you're a psychopath. Like,
yeah, like the way they like knock shit off of like the shelves.
And that's also a fascinating thing of felines, that they just test things, and that the only part that I don't like about their personality is that on the killing thing, that they literally play with their food, and sometimes they don't even eat it. Like they get mice and they're like, oh, fuck you, and beat it around, see it suffer and leave it. Like, oh, you're running, hurt it more, and just leave it there. Like, it's that's the part, like, you have issues.
Well, hey man, it was a pleasure having you on today. You want to plug yourself real quick, like tell them like where to find you, like what's your Twitter, your Instagram, all that.
I have my link tree that has all my links there. I just want to make sure that I'm giving the correct one because I don't remember if there are 2 O's or 1. Yeah, so my link tree is at paulooventura. So it's Paulo Ventura, but with 2 O's, paulooventura. And you have all my stuff there, SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, all the stuff. I'm also going to start a podcast soon. I'm just trying to get it prepared. So it'll be cool to bring it there too. Cool. I aim to be also be free format and have like we can play video games or start a track or create something together or just talk like we're doing.
Cool. I'm down.
It'll be dope.
Sick.
But yeah, it's been a pleasure.
I'll add all the links and stuff, of course, in the description so you can find it. Thank you for watching, guys. I appreciate you for coming on, man.
My pleasure. All right.